Morning, John here. I have been asked if I could advise on some oil pastels to possibly avoid. Now, I'm not going to say these are bad oil pastels because it's not my place to say that, but everything, as you know, in art is based on opinions. So all these oil pastels, they do have their place, I suppose, in the art world. However, the ones that I'm going to just tell you about, I'm not going to tell you whether they're good or bad. I'm just going to give you my opinion for what it's worth. They are probably just designed for children, I would say, more than people who want to make fine art. But the first one would be gallery oil pastels. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, gallery oil pastels, well, they're really good, aren't they? Well, there's two sorts, right? There's actually probably about 3 or 4 sorts, but the sorts I'm talking about are made by Mongo. Right, there are Mongo oil pastels, and there are Mongo soft oil pastels for artists. You mustn't get them confused. Now I'm going to show you a picture of the Mongo oil pastels, and they're in a blue packet. They won't give you very good artwork. They will pill up, they're very hard, they are cheap, they're not very pigmented. But of course, they're decent for children. So they do have their place, but for an artist, I would avoid them. That is just my opinion. The Mongo Gallery soft oil pastels are the ones in the black box. They are very good, right? So don't get them confused, right? Mongo Pastels for Artists, not very good, blue box. Mongo Gallery soft oil pastels, very good, excellent value, and definitely for artists. The next one I'd like to perhaps advise you on is the liquid draw. Again, their blendability is not great, right? Again, they will give you something, but I wouldn't even say for an artist they'd be a starter point, because these pastels, because they are on the cheaper end of the scale, they will just put you off. Okay, so it's probably best to avoid them, or not worth it, the pennies that you would save. So liquid draw, I've recently just had a go with them. I do have some in my studio. Perhaps I'll show you them, how they lay down at another point in time. But they won't blend very well, and yeah, I'm not overly impressed. Now, the next one I personally would avoid, very strongly in fact, would be the FaberCastell. Having said that, there are several different types of FaberCastell oil pastel, as far as I can see, because they look as if they come in several different types of boxes. So I'm going to say that these ones are not very good, in my opinion, and I've heard that off people before. Black Bean himself said the same thing. And I will tell you that in all honesty, they're probably the worst pastels I've ever used. I don't have hardly any of these now, because obviously they aren't very good, and I got rid of them. So yeah, I would avoid the FaberCastell ones at all costs. Having said that, like I said at the beginning, there are different types or different boxes, so it could be that there are good quality FaberCastell oil pastels. With all the oil pastels I have, I've still yet to venture into getting a different box to see if they are different. Hopefully they are, and I will come back and correct the record at that point if I need to. The last oil pastel that I'm going to tell you about will be a gallery oil pastel, but they're the Inscribe gallery oil pastel. Hard, not very pigmented, pill up very easily. Of the four that I've not recommended right now, these ones would be the better end of them. But the Inscribe gallery, hard, will pill up, won't give you a very good result, and will demoralise you. With all four of these oil pastels, I wouldn't even advise anybody to start with them, because I just think what they would do is they would give you something, but they would also demoralise you thinking that's what all oil pastels are like. Because one of the biggest tips that I could give you is not all oil pastels are equal. In fact, they are probably all very different. There's a few that are very close to each other, but on the whole, they're all very different, and they all have different pigment, different oil content, etc., etc. So there's just four that I'm going to say, well, you know, if you want to do good quality artwork, maybe just avoid these ones, leave these to the children, and pick something a bit better. I've put a score chart of approximately what I consider is good and not good, and that will give you some idea on the scores that I'm giving for some of the oil pastels that I own, going forward in future videos. So, as I say, I was asked, I'm always advising people on good stuff to buy, but I had a guy in my art group, in fact, who said to me, John, I wish you'd tell us what not to buy. Well, I'm not telling you not to buy things, I'm just advising in my humble opinion. So I hope that's useful. Best avoid them if you want good quality art. Whomever, wherever you are, have a great day, great week, a great year, and be kind.